So I'm glad, we got warmed up with, talking about the ice, the cold, and the challenges that we might do at some point. But hello, guys. Hello. Welcome to Happy Monday. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. So today we're going to be talking about Ria's book. We're going to be talking about chapter 2, right, Ria?
Yes, we are.
Your book. So yes, we're going to talk about chapter 2 of Ria's book. So good morning, everyone. My name is Alka.
My name is Ria, and
welcome
to our show.
So Ria, so today we're going to be talking about chapter 2. You know what? Everyone wants a change, because without change, we do not grow. Without change, change is inevitable, because you need to grow, you need to expand, and in order to do that, we need to experience different circumstances. We need to experience different outlets. So in your book, you talked about the difference between a physician and a real estate entrepreneur. Could you share with the viewers what were the main differences you found when you got into real estate?
So there is a difference between, there's a big difference between a physician and a real estate entrepreneur, or in my book, I call it real estate professional. So physician, if you're familiar with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he talks about the 4 quadrants. So E, the employee, S is the self-employed, B is the big business, and I is the investor. So when I was working as a physician, I was wearing the hat of the E, the employee. And now that I'm into apartment investing, I wear the hat of the S, the self-employed, and the I, the investor. So with the physician, whenever you're working with your employer, you're trading your time for money. Now, being an investor, you are working hard for assets. So that's what I work now. I work hard to finding assets to bring me passive income, and hopefully I can provide generational wealth to my family. Another thing with being a physician, you need to have a degree to be a physician, right? I spent a lot of my years becoming a physician. So I took 4 years of Bachelor of Science in Medical Technology. I took my that's my pre-med, and then I took my medicine, which is 4 years plus 1 PGI plus 3 years of residency plus 1 of fellowship. So that's a lot of years, more than 10 years to become a physician. Whereas a real estate investor, you do not have to have a college degree. If you love and you're passionate about apartment investing and growing in your apartments, all you got to do is study your market, start in your neighborhood first, study your market, study the people that have done it, or, if you can do externship with them, then so go be it. You can borrow books on apartments and then slowly put your feet into the water. If you've saved enough money, you can put 20% down, and then 80% of it will be coming from your banker or lender. So those are the 2 big differences.
Exactly. And so when you're looking to getting started in real estate, a lot of people, talk about the OPMs, other people's money. So the advantage of the OPM is that, you're not putting all your funds into a particular deal. So you've got your lenders, you've got other people that will have the equity coming into that project. So, that is beautiful, because a lot of people, when they think about getting started, they don't know what's the best place. They don't know what is that approach they need to get started, to create the generational wealth, as you talked about. They don't know. So what would you say to the viewers listening, that if you're thinking of getting started, you're serious about leaving your W-2 job, tired of being an employee, working a 9 to 5 job that you have, which is just over broke, what would you say to the viewers? How would they take that approach?
So if you're tired of your job, just over broke, I wouldn't recommend them to quit their job, even if they're just over broke, even if they're tired, because it's very important that you have income coming in. And if you're currently working as an employee and your employer is providing you the money to put food into your table, keep it. Continue to do your job. However, when you're off after work, which I did, that's when you do the side hustle. So get to know what you're really passionate about. Do you love selling? Do you love the apartment? Because I believe selling is a part of, whatever passion or side business or side hustle we have to do. So if you're into the apartment space and you're tired of your job, then learn about apartments. Don't just, quit your job. Learn about the apartments, learn the apartment math, because it's very important to use your head and not just your heart. So you have to buy in the right location. You want to make sure that the property will be cash flowing when you buy the property.
And that's important. What you just said is to follow, not with your heart, but with your head. And that comes down to knowing your numbers. And we've talked about this in the series we did last week, is to know your numbers. So, but also what I liked is that, you talk about, do not leave your primary job. You need to keep that in order whilst you're looking for your second job, your second hustle, that is going to provide you the time freedom, it's going to provide you a great lifestyle. You need to, you want to have a safety net, right, Ria? You want to have that safety net that you can position yourself properly once you've executed on that side hustle and your side hustle is doing well. Then, Ria, would you say then they can leave their primary job if they want to?
That is correct, right? So they want to test the water first to see if it really fits them. And then once they've done a couple of deals, if they bought 1 or 2 property, then or even more, and it's able to replace your income. Number one, it should replace your income, because then if you're used to going out every week with your family through your income from your W-2 job, and your business is able to provide or replace your income and even more, that's the time when you can go full-time, in my opinion, full-time in your apartment investing. But when you're starting out, it's very important that you have your job, because number one, your lenders will look for that W-2, because otherwise they will not lend to you, because the lenders want to make sure that you as a borrower would be able to pay the lender.
Exactly, pay them back, because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what lenders think about. Are you going to be able to pay them back? Because they're the ones that are lending you the money, whether it's $1 million or so, but they need to have that security. Can you pay them back? So that's what it comes down to. Now, you talked about also in page 3, you talk about how you began to prepare for your future. Now, when you came to the US, maybe, to share to the viewers, when you came to the US, because obviously when we talk about going to another country, we always think about, okay, it's going to be so glamorous. It's going to be a beautiful life to, the future is going to look bright for you, for your family, for your kids, but it does not always turn out that way. So Ria, can you just share with us, what were your first experience when you came to the US, and you talk about how you then created your long-term future? the plans you had?
So in 2004, I was in the Philippines. I graduated and took and passed my board exam as a doctor. And I knew I want to go to America. I want to come to America and practice my profession here as a doctor. So in the Philippines, I lived in comfort, meaning, we're a middle income family. So that means that we have a roof over our head. We have food. We can go out whenever we want to. We can travel. But coming here in the United States, I have my relatives with me, but my parents are not here. So it's very new to me. I have to live with my aunt for a couple of months, for 1 year. So when I came here, I didn't have any money into my name. I only had $100, and my mom gave me $1,000 when she left me to go back to the Philippines, $1,000, in the hope that I would match into a residency training program. And the good Lord was so kind. I got into a residency training program. So I was able to transition from being a tourist to an exchange student visa. So after that, then my life changed. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, because now I'm able to practice my profession as a physician. So from becoming a tourist here, now to working, training in one of the US hospital system, it was a privilege. It was a gift. I'm grateful for that opportunity. And now, after graduating from my residency, from my fellowship, I work as an attending physician. And until I read books, really the mind that shifted me was the Rich Dad Poor Dad, because then I learned the 4 quadrants. So I learned the E, the 4 quadrants again is the E, which is the employee, the S, the self-employed, the B, the business, and the I, the investor. And I said to myself, I'm playing on the E. I need to be on the B or the I, because those are where the tax advantages are. So then I thought of how can I, from the E, how can I transition to the B or the I? And that's where I decided I'm going to do the apartment space. I'm going to rent out apartments to my tenants. And that's how things are now. So one book changed my life.
Well, there you go, friends. Just pick one book that is going to change your life, because sometimes, knowledge is power. So it does not matter what book you're reading, as long as you're reading just that one book really changes people's lives. I mean, I've seen so many people, reading any particular book for that matter, but it truly, it comes down to also implementation, because knowledge on its own is just information. Reading on its own is just information, but it's the implementation that is the key. And so I love that, Ria, because when we think about the 4 quadrants and how life truly can become more meaningful, life can become so much better for our families, is to think about the 4 quadrant. Where is it that we lie at this moment in time? And then thinking about the future, making future plans, then becomes so much easier, because then it's an easy transition, right, Ria? It becomes an easy transition once you begin to think about the 4 quadrants, where it is that we where we are at this moment in time to transition.
That is true. So if you are on the E quadrant right now, or in the S quadrant, there is hope. We can become a B, which is a big business, or the I, the investor. And the clue to it, the key to it, is taking action. So we know, we acknowledge, we accept that we are in this quadrant, and now it's up to us to take the A, the action, to become either a big business or the I, the investor. And the time to do it is to do it right now.
It's exactly, the time is to do it right now, because the moment that you wait, And sometimes, you know, time just goes by, and most people think about, okay, I want to get into real estate, I want to do, you know, XYZ, but they don't necessarily take that action, and time just goes by. As we know, we're already like, you know, just start beginning of February, but you know, the months are just going to fly by as the years just fly by. But you gotta, if you know that real estate is what you want to do, you have to take that action, because without any action, you know, life is just going to go by. And then, Ria, so the point that I just wanted to make, what you said a moment ago, was that, you know, once you decided that you came to the US and you began to work hard, you began to know, okay, you know, you wanted to make a life for yourself. And I really commend that, because it's not easy. It's not easy when you leave your home country and you're going into another country that you may, is lucky that you had relatives, but some people, they don't know anyone, and yet they make it a goal, they make it a great life for themselves, because you know what, they have the ingredients, they hustle, they grind, and they know what they want. So I liked what you said about, you know, just you took all of that knowledge that you had and you made it work for yourself. But then how did apartments though come about? How did you get into just doing apartments as opposed to any other part of real estate?
That's a great question, 𝗥𝗵𝗲. Growing up in the Philippines, I was exposed to apartment space, the apartment industry. My parents have a few apartments in the Philippines. So I always have that exposure. You know, environment is key. So what you are exposed to, right? You see it, and then at some point in time, you're hopeful that you're going to get to that situation or to that, you know, opportunity as well. So coming to America, I didn't know that apartment will be my business, but I always have that exposure. And then in 2012, my primary home, I have to rent it out. I became an emergency landlord. So because of the primary residence, and I had to relocate, that's when I became an emergency landlord. But that first experience, that first apartment, was a loss for me in paper. So because of that loss, and I didn't want to lose any more money, I took it upon myself to learn more about finance, to learn more about apartments, to learn more about selling or sales. So when I learned those three, and then I wanted to grow my apartment, that's when I continued my education to see if it was the industry that I want to be in, business I want to be in. So I bought another one. So I bought one single family home at a time. And then after the second one, I said, I think I like doing this thing. So then I bought another one. So during this time, when I bought my second to the third one, I invested more in myself before I grew and scaled my apartment. So I have a tax during that time in 2014. I paid for a mentor. I have a tax and wealth strategy. What the rich know, I tried to understand and learn for myself, so I can be at one day, I can be in their position too. So I studied with my mentor, they guided me, and after learning the knowledge that they have on the tax and wealth strategy, I deployed it right away. And once I deployed that knowledge, I was able to buy 4 units, 6 units, 12 units in just a year. And so I know if I can do it, you can do it as well.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, you've heard it right there. If Ria could do it, she was a successful physician who decided to leave her country, go to the US, make it a life for herself and her family. We all can do it. And, you know, there's hope. So knowledge, you know, is power. but just reading that one book, as Ria said, choose that one book that's going to change your life, but take the actions, implement on what you're reading, which is the key, Ria, right? Is what, knowledge is power. But the more knowledge that we have, the better that we are going to be, and the better, life is going to get. So choose that first book that is going to change your life, but then take the actionable steps that's going to be required. So Ria, any final steps you want to talk about, to share with the viewers?
Applied knowledge is power. So act now. I know you guys have been reading, and you have to deploy that knowledge. Act now. Don't be fearful. Act now.
Exactly. Get out your comfort zone. Rena, we were talking about just before the show, getting out the comfort zone, because if you stay comfortable, it's cozy, it feels good, but there's no growth in that. Growth only happens when we step out of the comfort zone. So friends, this is the end of the show. And we are, it's just been amazing chatting and, about our experiences. And today we talked about Ria's book, The Apartment Prescription. So Ria, where can they find you?
So they can find me in, my book is in Amazon, Apartment Prescription. I will also be doing a webinar this March 5, Sunday at 3 p.m. US Eastern Time. I know, right? So it's all about apartment. And if you're a physician, you want to grow, or you want to know more about apartment, I will be doing a webinar. There's a general admission for $97 and a VIP experience for $297, where I'll be giving my signed copy of my book, Apartment Prescription.
Wow, nice.
And I'll be doing a 1-hour one-on-one coaching with the VIP, and I will cater that 1 hour to them. And I'll also provide them an exercise worksheet.
That is amazing. Well, friends, you've heard it right there. Do get the book. I mean, it's just an amazing book. Very simple, very easy to follow, and easy to implement. Ria just lays it right out. So thank you for joining us this morning. We've had just amazing conversations. I hope you got a lot out of today's conversation, and how you can truly, leverage and implement the steps that Ria has mentioned, take it into your life and make it the best life possible for you and your family. So we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Take care. God bless. Happy investing, guys.
Exactly. That is amazing.